because those funds can't be calculated into the numbers.
So
In the future,
that's fine.
but after
Instead
we've
of
explained it, it should have ended there. So what you're saying is, again, feeding into the misrepresentation, that people are saying that we're lying. The money is there, the money's on websites, the money is a public information.
So somebody has to know exactly what that's called in order to request it.
We've
Any
told
and
them.
all
We've told
means
them.
any and all. If you want to put it on the sheet and say that it's restricted, it's restricted. That's
and-
perfectly fine.
But that's after, but that was 4 months ago. We've had these discussions with the budget committee in February. They didn't ask us then, when we were face to face with them. No one said anything to us.
That's the point, is they requested any and all.
But they didn't
And
feel they could have asked then?
If they didn't know there was anything missing, what are they supposed to ask for?
Well, why didn't they follow it up? They say, if we didn't respond to them, say, hey guys, you didn't respond to this. How come? Where's the information? They never said that to us.
I don't know about that.
Well, they didn't. I mean, we were there. They didn't ask it.
Could I just say that I've been going through this process now, 6 years, 5 years, and the budget committee going to all their meetings, and going to all the town council meetings and the, of course, school committee meetings. And in the past, it's going like this. We go before the budget committee, and so does the fire chief and the police chief and DPW seniors. We all go through it, we all go and tell them what we need for that year. Then the big night comes when the revenue number comes out and how much we have to spend to support our services. And then we've been asked to come back. If we don't have enough money, or whatever it is, we've been asked to come back as a body and discuss it thoughtfully and find solutions as to how we can keep to run the town and afford it with the money that we have. That was what it used to be every year that I was there. Not that it didn't get contentious, and we did have debates, and sometimes we did debates. But as I've always said, in the end, the number that those budget committee recommended is the number that came to the town floor. Even one year, we had a meeting a half hour before because they figured out we needed 100 more from the school committee and 250 from the town. We all meted a half hour before, then we changed the number so we could come to what the town needed to function, and then we all voted on it. Now this year we went, and it was $1 more after being cut, as we know, last year by 5 votes, by 650. We asked for only 1.5% last year. We met. Now, the thing that amazes me is that being on this committee, I've always seen the decisions being student-driven. Mr. Eric meets with his principals, he meets with his staff, he says, what can we cut, what can we do? Just as we did again tonight, we got more information, we made another vote, we cut it, and that's how it's always been. And it's always been student-driven and by the students' needs. I always say, is this because of numbers, budget numbers, or is this because we don't need it? Because maybe we don't have as many students. Last year we cut a kindergarten class at Ranger because the students were down. All of a sudden, an influx came in, the numbers went way up, we transferred some to Fort Barton, right? To get to 23 or 24 we have, that's a large number for, kindergarten. So anyway, that's what happens. We make decisions on the best information, and then that turned out to be too many kids. But my point is, this year we weren't asked to come back, we weren't asked for any more information, we were just cut $1 more. And the last time this happened, my children were in kindergarten, 2nd and 3rd grade at Fort Barton. They cut us $1 more at the town meeting. They closed those two schools and they all went to Cassett. Cassett's a wonderful school, but no school's wonderful when it's overcrowded, when you have classrooms at the library, you never have the room. The schoolyard was amazingly disastrous, the bus ride. The next year, the school nurse came and begged for the people to please reopen the schools because the education is hurt when the classes are overcrowded. We all know that, all the studies say that. So this is very serious. We're trying to work with the numbers. We've gone up to the state. I testified at the budget committee. When I saw the docket that night and I saw the number from the funding formula in there instead of the governor's recommendation, because Mr. Fiore and I were at a funding formula conference, and we asked specifically, what number do we use when building our budget? This number? They said, no, this isn't passed. There's a lot of funding formulas coming. We haven't worked on it yet. We don't know what's going to pass. Use the governor's number. So that's what we put in there.
Which is the 3.8%.
I stood up at the meeting
Yes.
and I said, excuse me, why are you using this funding formula number when you know we were told not to use it? I told them that night before they voted on it, so it's not like they didn't know it. So I just want you to know, all this information's been out. We're doing our best to not ask the town, and I've said for 5 years that the federal government's only contributing 3 or 4%, the state in the teens, and we have the rest on our backs. I've said that for 5 years. There's no hidden money about the federal government. And the only money I want hidden is something you find in your pocket after you do the wash, maybe $5. I don't want 1 more cent, and I know that that's what we're working on. I've always said that. If I find out there's any money hidden, there's going to be something to pay. And I think we're going to do it. We have to all come together and look for solutions. We're fighting against each other. People calling us liars, all these different things. And it's just not going to work out. It's just not the way the community runs. Economic development. They gave a wonderful presentation last night of what they're trying to do. They have a website. It's called Tiverton, Open for Business. This is what we need. These men meet every month. I go every month and see the hard work they're putting in. The Chamber of Commerce is putting in money to pay for the website. The Budget Committee cut the Chamber of Commerce, the League of Cities and Towns, Visiting Nurses, Economic Development, the planner, an MIT graduate who's doing a fantastic job. They cut him. So you want business to come, you want to be business friendly, and yet you're doing all these other things. So it's not just the schools that are suffering this year. It's the whole town. East Bay community, people that help the people that need it the most now, the dental and medical services. You just can't be doing that at a time like this. We have to all come together, stop calling each other's names, and look for solutions. Thank you.
Mr. Gundy, you have Mrs. Miles at the podium.
Okay. Just 2 quick things. To follow up with Mrs. Black, you said that there's an aid number included that shouldn't be used. You guys said at the beginning that it's a 19.5% cut, but I'm reading and hearing it's a 2% increase. Is it because of the aid?
When you look at the Budget Committee's number, they're giving us $20,047,000. From last year, we were given $24,900,000, 19.5 reduction right there. We're asking for $25,645,096.
But they're reporting a total 2% increase. Does that include the bottom line with the aid that Sally was saying that they should have been, they were told not to use?
Right, they're showing that our state aid increased by 8.9%.
And it has not, it is
No,
not.
it's been cut 3.8%.
Okay.
No, the state aid number we're using, that we use, is the governor's number. It's a reduction of 3.8% in state aid. The issue is, at least with the most recent proposed docket, the Budget Committee is not allocating any, they're not accounting for operational aid from the state or the federal government.
The only number that appears on the docket.
The only number that appears is the $20,047,961.
But the total number, it's got the proposed.
Our number has the aid, the 3.8
Right.
reduction in aid in it.
The number proposed to be voted is $20,047,961, so we're unsure if that represents a 2% increase over anything.
We're not sure, since it's a dollar more.
I guess my point I was getting to is that was my understanding too, is that they're using an aid number from Rhode Island Department of Ed
Funding formula.
that's not representative of anything. No one said to use it, no one said this is the number, so it's showing a $500,000 aid increase, but there really isn't one.
There's numerous issues, aside from Ronnie telling us not to use that for budgeting purposes. One of the most serious ones that hasn't been contemplated was there's about $700,000 of that aid that is now considered restricted aid that the state was going to propose rolling into our general aid number. But that would mean that we have $700,000 of expenses that we need to either cut out of our budget or add in.
Because the governor's budget doesn't include that.
That's
So
correct.
you've got apples to oranges.
It's
Okay,
not a valid
I'm there.
comparison.
Okay, thank you.